elements of the crime against humanity under the Rome Statute. And then the second part are the implications, the legal implications of the Senate admissions of President Duterte. So if may I ask the COMSEC to show the slides, please.
Secretariat, can you please assist Congressman Colmenares? Oh, there it is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. The elements of the crime against humanity under Article 7 of the Rome Statute, I just summarized it to two. Widespread or systematic attacks against civilians. Marami na pong witness na nagsabi niyan from Mindanao, Visayas to Luzon, at civilian ang mga tinitira, Mr. Chair. Ang pangalawang element ng crime against humanity sa ICC is dapat may knowledge of the attack si Duterte. Ano ang proof na sinabit sa ICC as proof of knowledge of the attack para ma-fulfill ang element na yan sa crime against humanity? Una, public statements niya po, ordering the police to kill drug suspects, ordering the police to kill lawyers of the drug suspect, ordering the police to kill human rights defenders. Yung second element po, yung second evidence na pinresent, are the public statements of President Duterte encouraging the killings. Marami po siyang statements na ako bahala sa inyo, i-amnesty ko kayo, i-pardon ko kayo, tuloy nyo lang. This is a very important component of the proof na may knowledge siya of the attacks. Next slide, please. Ang pangatlo, siyempre, ang testimony ni Colonel Garma that President Duterte did not only set up the Davao template nationwide, but also funded it. Ngayon, tinahi ni Colonel Garma ang elements ng crime against humanity because not only nag-utos siya na patayin, kundi pinondohan niya pa. That is a very important element to show na may knowledge talaga siya sa attack. Kaya hindi siya pwedeng magmaang-maangan dyan. And then yung subsequent na nabasa natin na nagsabi si Colonel Garma that tinawagan siya ni President Duterte para sabihin, bakit ko pinili si Colonel Leonardo? Dahil mapagkatiwalaan siya sa pera. That actually, Mr. Chair, confirms the reward system in the drug war. Kasi bakit mo nga ba naman bibigyan at kailangan ng isang taong katulad ni Colonel Leonardo para maraming pera, may pondo ang drug war as admitted by President Duterte when he said, may malaking halaga ng pera dyan at kailangan ko ng mapagkatiwalaan. Pangatlo, admissions niya sa Senate, ordering the killings at yung death squads. Hindi siya pwedeng lumusot dyan kahit sabihin niya pang joke. That was the context of the Senate investigation, yung death squads. Kaya the moment sinabi niya, yan, death squad yan. Yung mga senador na yan, death squad yan. That is a confirmation of what the Senate hearing was all about. He wanted to make the Senate his playground. He wanted to make sure na ang Senado doon siya magdidepensa at doon niya bibirahin ang mga biktima, doon niya bibirahin ang mga nanay. Pero dahil si President Duterte hindi mapigilan ang sarili niya, marami siyang admissions doon katulad nito. At ang isang dinugtong niya, nag-order siya to encourage the police na udyukan ang mga suspects para lumaban at saka babarilin. Iyan mismo, Mr. Chair, destroyed the nanlaban narrative. Marami ng mga nanay, marami ng mga kaanak ang nagsabing, hindi po lumalaban yung anak ko, yung asawa ko, nakaluhod na po sumusuko na po nagmamakaawa na, pero binaril. And President Duterte unwittingly took out the defense of self-defense sa mga kapulisan niya. Ngayon, ang mga pulis, hirap na po na mag-self-defense na gamitin sa korte because the President himself already said na Kung hindi nanlalaban, udyukan mo. So parang pinagkanulo pa ni President Duterte ang mga kapulisan niya by his words in the Senate hearing, Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. Ano naman ang proof ng Duterte and police conspiracy na sila ay konektado? Ang una, siyempre, na proof dyan sa pagpatay ng kapulisan ay ang mga witnesses at direct evidence. We may call in the ICC, for example, evidence from witnesses doon sa kaso ni Kian de los Santos. Efren Murillo, kasama siya ng 5. Nang binaril sila, wounded siya, yung 4 patay, siya survived. Direct testimony ni Efren Murillo, very crucial in pointing out the involvement of the police in the killing. Jessilo Kadungog, yung kagawad sa Cebu, na kung saan sinusundan siya ng mga riding in tandem, pero yung driver niya napansin na bubunot, inunahan ng driver, napatay ang riding in tandem, and lo and behold, Mr. Chair, ang napatay na riding in tandem ay police. And the police is none other than PO2 Eugene Calumba na siyang kasama ni Albotra doon sa Laguna. That was testified in the last hearing. Of course, the Poral and Belandi case sa Malubog, Cebu, kasama na rin po, survivors po sila. Ito ang mga witnesses na mahirap kontrahin kasi they survived the attack. Ang mga pulis, pwede silang magsabi sa korte na nanlaban talaga eh. Pero itong mga witnesses na ito, sa takot lang nila na magsinungaling, gagawa-gawa sila ng kwento na ang pulis talagang pinatay yung mga taong ito na walang kalaban-laban. Sa takot lang nila, Mr. Chair, especially if they witness the killings, the thousands of killings all over the country. Pangalawang evidence po dyan na ipipresent, not only yung direct na ebidensya o ang mga testigo, kundi may pattern din of evidence. Ano po ang pattern? Ang una, public vilification of the victims. Ano ibig sabihin? Bago pinatay ang mga biktima, publicly tinira na sila ni President Duterte. Yung mga drugs kayo, dapat mamatay kayo. Kayo na mga lawyers ng mga drug suspects, isusunod ko kayo. Kayo na mga human rights defenders, mga aktivista, I will also eliminate you. Lahat yan, public vilification bago pinatay ang mga biktima, Mr. Chair. The second part of the pattern is the brazenness with which the attacks were conducted in public, in police, near police stations, as if the perpetrators were never afraid at all of being accosted by the police. Wala silang takot, may police station. Meron nga pinatay sa Bacolod, Mr. Chair. A few meters, at yung Cebu, yung Malubog incident, a few meters lang yan sa police detachment. So basically, yun ang second part ng pattern na nagsasabing state-sponsored killing ito. Ang pangatlong part of the pattern, lack of interest to seriously investigate. Klaro po sa kwento ng mga nanay, klaro sa mga maraming witnesses dito, wala talagang seryosong investigasyon sa maraming patayan. In fact, Mr. Chair, pag EJK yan, medyo mahirap ang pulis mag-imbestiga. So, those three parts of the pattern show state involvement or involvement ng kapulisan protected by Duterte para hindi sila masangkot o makonvict doon sa mga krimen na yon. Next slide, please. Ang quad hearing ngayon, Mr. Chair, and many of the families of the victims would like to thank the quad committee kasi nag-open kayo ng new set of possible victims in the drug war na hindi po involved in the drug trade at all. Dati-rati, these are all drug suspects, drug addicts, drug pushers. Pero ngayon, meron palang mga biktima na hindi at all related sa drugs. Pero pinatay sila for various reasons. Ang unang set of victims, Mr. Chair, victims killed because they were lawyers of drug suspects. Matapos sabihin ni President Duterte, kayo ang susunod mga abogado, maraming namamatay na abogado. Can President Duterte say, joke ko lang to? Well, if he says kill, kill, kill at walang namatay, then probably people will say, joke niya nga lang. But the moment President Duterte says kill, kill, kill at libo ang namatay, he cannot escape conviction, Mr. Chair, in a court of law. Ang example ng mga lawyers, Jan Ungab, Attorney Bato, lawyers ni Kerwin Espinosa, Attorney Rex Lopos, isang abogado na may witness naman tayo dito for that, nagbibigay ng serbisyo sa drug suspects, pinatay. Attorney Rafael Atutubo sa Bacolod, pinatay because he gave counsel to drug suspects. Attorney Ben Ramos, a lawyer who was against and very vocal against the drug war of President Duterte, pinatay. Attorney Anthony Trinidad, Dumaguete City. Attorney Edel Julio Romero, lawyer ni Udicta sa Iloilo, Mr. Chair. Those are one set of victims. Abogado lang sila ng drug suspects, wala silang kinalaman sa drug trade at all. Second, victims killed or arrested because they were human rights defenders or members of the opposition. Of course, Senator Leila de Lima is an example. Wala naman siyang kinalaman sa droga, nilagay siya doon because she is an opposition. She criticized Duterte for his human rights record, katulad ng maraming mga human rights defenders. Yung mga biktima, Mr. Chair, Negros Oriental under General Sinas Sempo operations, kasama na po yan sa mga biktima na nilamp sa droga, pero ang rason is because they are part of those people who criticized government at human rights defenders. Meron pong mga Bloody Sunday sa Batangas, Tumando killing sa Iloilo, marami pa po yan. Those are example of victims na walang kinalaman sa drug trade, but they were killed because they were activists or human rights defenders. Pangatlo, Mr. Chair, yung pinatay for personal interest, walang kinalaman sa droga, and General Barayuga is one example of that. It just exposed corruption in the administration, nilagay sa drug list. General Sina said, oh, nasa drug list yan eh. In fact, dapat nga matanong siya, paano mo nalaman? Pinatay siya because of that. Of course, the LGU mayors na probably pinatay for other reasons. Probably politics, probably kung ano man, pero they were killed. Like the mayors of Calbayog, sa Cebu, marami yon, and Iloilo. Nag-testify naman dito si Mayor Mabilog na wala naman siyang kinalaman but he was included there. Yung intra-police feud sa Cebu, pwede sigurong titingnan din ng Quadcom yan kasi may patayan among them which led to the killings of policemen. Of course, si Councilor Ramon Halandoni ng Canlaon City was one of those killed. Walang kinalaman at all sa droga. So these are the new victims na naghihintay, Mr. Chair, na sana mabigyan din ng hustisya ang kanilang kaanak. Probably never related talaga sa drugs pero pinatay for various reasons na walang kinalaman sa drug war pero pinatay sa ngalan ng anti-drug campaign. Last slide, Mr. Chair. So bakit ko sinabing President Duterte destroyed the non-laban narrative as a defense? Kasi in-encourage niya ang mga criminals. Sabi niya, inutusan ko ang mga pulis ko, i-encourage nyo, udyukan nyo, manlaban, tapos birahin mo sa ulo para patay agad. Ano po ang elemento ng self-defense sa ilalim ng batas natin? First, unlawful aggression on the part of the suspect. Dapat inaatake ka ng suspect. Pero kung sinabi na ang suspect nagmamakaawa na, pero pinatay mo pa rin, walang unlawful aggression, Mr. Chair, on the part of the suspect. Therefore, you cannot claim self-defense if there was no unlawful aggression. Pangalawa, reasonable force. The police should use reasonable force that is proportional to the threat. Excessive force may negate self-defense. Kung ang utos ni President Duterte, barilin mo sa ulo, ay walang ano yan. Hindi mo siya i-maim, hindi mo siya i-disable, barilin mo sa ulo, patayin mo. Is that reasonable force? No, Mr. Chair. Presuming na nanlaban nga. And pangatlo, the third element of self-defense under our laws, Mr. Chair, is lack of sufficient provocation on the part of the police. And that is what President Duterte took out nung sinabi niyang inutusan niya na udyukan yung manlaban. Kasi ibig sabihin, may sufficient provocation. So that's the last slide, Mr. Chair, and I'd just like to add. Ang Senate testimony ng maraming pulis, and I'm sure kahit dito sa Quadcom, may karapatan ang pulis na dumepensa sa sarili niya kung sakaling babarilin siya. That is always the statement of Duterte. But that is not the issue, Mr. Chair. Wala naman nagsasabi sa atin dito na pag babarilin ka ng inaaresto mo, wala kang karapatang dumepensa. Of course, yes. But hindi issue dito whether or not the police has the right to act in self-defense. Ang issue dito, Mr. Chair, na hindi nanlaban. It's not a question of law, it's a question of fact. Ang issue talaga dito, hindi naman nanlaban eh. Wala naman kaming sinasabing wala kayong karapatan na depensahan ang sarili nyo. Ang sinasabi namin, there was no need for that kasi hindi nanlaban. Yun ang crucial. Alam mo, Mr. Chair, ina-avoid talaga nilang sagutin yun. Pansinin mo lahat ng sagot nila. Oh, may karapatan naman kayo pag lumaban ng suspect. No. The question is, hindi nanlaban. Tawag nga dyan sa law, negative pregnant eh. Na pag sinabi sa yung, oy, pinatay mo si Juan, ang sabihin niya, hindi ko siya pinatay nung Miyerkules. Ibig sabihin yun, ang ibig sabihin ng negative pregnant, ina-avoid mo ang issue at nag-shift ka ng ibang issue, tantamount na inamin mo. So basically, ang conclusion ko na lang, Mr. Chair, is this. The elements of the crime against humanity in the ICC has become very strong. And with the help of the Quadcom, I wouldn't be surprised kung talagang i-wrap up ng ICC doon sa investigasyon nila on crimes against humanity and a warrant of arrest may be issued. Ang tanong, Mr. Chair, pwede ba na magkaso ang mga biktima? Mr. Chair, alam nyo, kung ordinaryong kriminal yan, Mr. Chair, wala akong problemang kasuhan mo. But President Duterte is a former president, mayaman yan, maraming pera, powerful. Pag magsampa ang mga mahihirap na biktima ng kaso sa kanya for crime against humanity, Mr. Chair, may problemang malaki. Baka 5 years, 6 years, di pa tapos yung kaso. Ang mga biktima, Mr. Chair, wala nga silang pamasahe, papunta sa hearing. How can they do that when even the evidence that they requested from the police when their relatives were shot were never given to them at all? Sabi ng isang senador, ang gusto ko katotohanan. Gusto ko lumabas ang katotohanan. Pero Mr. Chair, 6 na taong hinihingi ng kaanak ng mga biktima ang katotohanan. Hindi sila nagbibigay ng police report, SOCO report, blatter man lang, hindi sila nagbibigay. Ina-avoid nila ang katotohanan for 6 years. Pero ngayon, nung nagsalita na dito sa Quadcom ang maraming kaanak ng biktima, bigla silang interesado sa katotohanan. Hypocrisy yun, Mr. Chair. That is hypocrisy on part of those subordinates of Duterte who continue to claim that they just want the truth. They deprive the people, they deprive the victims of the truth for 6 years. And it is only now that the truth is beginning to see the light of day. And we really hope that they will continue, the Quad Committee hearings will continue, but this time around, Mr. Chair, also give a chance to the families of victims who were killed because ang kaanak nila, abogado lang naman ng drug suspect, because ang kaanak nila ay human rights defenders lang, o kaya ang kaanak nila ay sinangkot lang talaga kahit walang kinalaman sa droga because their families are also asking for justice. And the families of these victims deserve justice. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Magandang gabi po.
Thank you, Congressman. Former